Hi guys, welcome to Education College's Selective Preparation Power Reading Test 50. Today we will be reading a poem called Mulga Bill's Bicycle by A.B. Banjo Patterson. Let's begin reading. 'Twas Mulga Bill from Eagle Hawk that caught the cycling craze. He turned away the good old horse that served him many days. He dressed himself in cycling clothes, resplendent to be seen. He hurried off to town and bought a shiny new machine. And as he wheeled it through the door with air of lordly pride, the grinning shop assistant said, Excuse me, can you ride? See here, young man, said Mulga Bill, from Walgett to the sea, from Conroy's Gap to Castlereagh, there's none can ride like me. I'm good all round at everything, as everybody knows. Although I'm not the one to talk, I hate a man that blows. But riding is my special gift, my chiefest sole delight. Just ask a wild duck, can it swim? A wildcat, can it fight? There's nothing clothed in hair or hide, or built of flesh or steel. There's nothing walks or jumps or runs, an axe, hoof, or wheel. But what else sit, while hide will hold, and girths and straps are tight? I'll ride this here two-wheeled concern right straight away at sight. 'Twas Mulga Bill from Eagle Hawk that sought out his own abode, that pushed above Dead Man's Creek beside that mountain road. He turned the cycle down the hill and mounted for the fray, for ere he'd gone a dozen yards it bolted clean away. It left the track and through the trees just like a silver streak, it whistled down the awful slope toward the Dead Man's Creek. It shaved a stump by half an inch, it dodged a big white box. The very wallaroos in fright went scrambling up the rocks. The wombats hiding in their caves dug deeper underground, as Mulga Bill, as white as chalk, set tight to every bound. It struck a stone and gave a spring that cleared a fallen tree. It raced beside a precipice as close could be. And then as Mulga Bill let out one last despairing shriek, it made a leap of 20 feet into the Dead Man's Creek. 'Twas Mulga Bill from Eagle Hawk that slowly swam ashore. He said, I've had some nearer shaves and lively rounds before. I've rode a wild bull round a yard to win a 5-pound bet, but this was the most awful ride that I've encountered yet. I'll give that two-wheeled outlaw best, it's shaken all my nerve, to feel it whistle through the air and plunge and buck and swerve. It's safe at rest in Dead Man's Creek, we'll leave it lying still. A horse's back is good enough, henceforth for Mulga Bill. So question 9 reads, Excuse me, can you ride? Mulga Bill's response to the question is A, agreeable, B, furious, C, indignant, or D, joyous. And if we go back to here, let's see, we can identify that the grinning shop assistant said, Excuse me, can you ride? And Mulga Bill responded, See here, young man, from Walgett to the sea, from Conroy's Gap to Castlereagh, there's none can ride like me. He does continue with, I'm good all round to everything, as everybody knows. So when we look at the options, A, agreeable, we can cross that out. Agreeable would probably mean while he is agreeing in a way here, it was asking a question, so it's not agreeable. D, joyous, not exactly joyous if you can read through the context of the words. When he says, see here, young man, that's not joyous. It'd probably be like an enthusiastic answer, like, yes, absolutely, I can ride. Or B, furious, or C, indignant. And if we look through the options, it's unlikely to be B, furious, as he's just simply explaining that, I'm better at doing everything, but I don't want to boast about it. So it must be C, indignant. Question 10 reads, Although I'm not the one to talk, I hate a man that blows. This comment is A, true, B, justified, C, hypocritical, or D, clever. So that was here. Although I'm not the one to talk, I hate a man that blows. And he continues, but riding is my special gift, my chiefest sole delight. So we can see it's not A, true, because when we go back to the ending of the story, remember, he crashed his bike and he fell into the creek. So it's not A, it's not B either in the same reason as that, and also it's not clever. because again, he falls into the creek. So it must be C, hypocritical. So he's also got this reinforced as early. He says, I'm good all round at everything as everybody knows. That's boasting. But then he continues by juxtaposing with this line, although I'm not the one to talk, I hate a man that boasts. So I just boast about myself, but I don't want to brag. And question 11 reads, in the third stanza, we learn that Mulga Bill's intended destination was A, home, B, the hill, C, Dead Man's Creek, D, unstated. So obviously we know to cross out C, Dead Man's Creek, because it says here, intended destination. He just happened to crash into the creek. So let's quickly just go back and see, and it says here, 'twas Mulga Bill from Eagle Hawk that sought his own abode, that perched above Dead Man's Creek beside the mountain road. So it's not B or D because abode is home. So let's just write that down. So that's why people often say, welcome to my humble abode, welcome to my humble home. Question 12 reads, what is the purpose of Mulga Bill being described as white as chalk in the fourth stanza? Is it A, emphasizes Mulga Bill's ghostly appearance after the ride, B, alludes to Mulga Bill's deceptive calmness in handling the bicycle, C, describes Mulga Bill's cycling outfit while riding, D, suggests Mulga Bill's fear and shock during the ride? So we'll just quickly find this line in the poem, and it's here. As Mulga Bill, as white as chalk, sat tight to every bound, it struck a stone and gave a spring that cleared a fallen tree. So here, obviously, it's not A, emphasizes Mulga Bill's ghostly appearance after the ride. This is before he crashes. So it's not A. B, alludes to Mulga Bill's deceptive calmness in handling the bike. Obviously, we know he crashed, so it's not deceptive calmness. C, describe Mulga Bill's cycling outfit while riding. Unlikely, and I'll quickly explain why it's D. Suggests Mulga Bill's fear and shock during the ride. This is a common sort of like idiom you say, or a metaphor here, or a simile actually, when you're describing someone who's such in a state of fear, you call them white as chalk, or you're as white as a ghost. So question 13 reads, what does the reference to Mulga Bill's once riding a wild bull round a yard reveal about him? Is it A, Mulga Bill is a gambler, B, he relishes in difficult riding feats, C, he fears no machine or beast, D, a quiet confidence in his ability to ride? So as we know, as established about Mulga Bill, it is not D, a quiet confidence. He is confident, but he's not so quiet about it because he likes boasting about his achievements. A, Mulga Bill is a gambler. While they do reference he made a bet earlier, we're just talking about just this line, a wild bull around a yard, so it's not A. So it must be B, he relishes in difficult riding tasks. C, he fears no machine or beast. As we know, just the same logic as D, he likes boasting about things. So it's B, he relishes in difficult riding feats because he wants to boast. Question 14, which is our last question, reads, what effect does Mulga Bill's experience with the two-wheeled machine, which is the bike, have on his attitude towards cycling? A, he becomes cautious and fearful. B, he decides to explore newer methods of riding. C, he becomes even more enthusiastic. D, he plans to buy a better machine. So as we know from the story, it's not D, he plans to buy a better machine. They never mentioned him having the thought of buying a better machine, so it's not D. C, he becomes even more enthusiastic. Not true, because remember the quote from earlier, white as chalk. So it suggests he was fearful, so it could be A. But let's just check B. He decides to explore newer methods of riding. Again, not mentioned. And so it must be A. He becomes cautious and fearful, and this is reinforced by white as chalk. Hey, thank you guys for coming to Educational College's Selective Preparation Power Reading Test 50. That was all. Thank you.